Today we are going to be exploring the areas around Great Sand Dunes National Park. This is actually 3 different properties here. In the middle we've got Great Sand Dunes National Park. On the east side here in the uplands we've got Great Sand Dunes National Preserve, and on the west side in the San Luis Valley we've got Baca National Wildlife Refuge. So as you can see, most of the data are going to be centered around the park, particularly here on the southeast side where the sand dunes are. However, there's a lot of really cool stuff down in these wetlands, and then especially on the north side, these pins are all really cool. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some photography from the park. This is the kind of habitat we're going to be dealing with. These sand dunes formed because winds butt up against the Sangre de Cristos, which are on the east side of this park. And the sand has nowhere to go, so it forms these giant sand dunes. Absolutely awesome spot. It's a very I've been here. I haven't done a whole lot in the park, but it's a very different experience from most places outside. So that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with here in the park. Have a look at some of the stuff in here. Actually, there is something I want to see, so let's start there. So the first thing we're going to look at are these shorthorn lizards that live at the park. I've never seen any of these, but they're some of the coolest horn lizards that are out there. The reason is because they don't reach... Oh, wrong one. The reason is that they don't reach a normal size, so they at one point in time, I believe, were called pygmy horn lizards. That right there is an adult, and it's probably, I mean, they're not anywhere close to the adults that are nearby. If you go, so that's one. There's another one down here. These shorthorn lizards are really cool. At some point, we're gonna have to go out there and look for them, because I mean, it's kind of hard to show with the other pins on there because you're just looking at photos. But the lizards at the park stay considerably smaller than pretty much all the locations to the north, south, east, and west. Here we've got one on Baca National Wildlife Preserve, or Refuge, whatever we're calling it. Teeny weeny. Look at that thing. He little. Look at this. This is wild. Look at how many horn lizards are up here in the uplands. That's... What? Why are there so many here? That one is actually a baby. That's a teeny tiny little lizard right there. Another shorthorn lizard. Another baby. It would be interesting to see how far outside of the park that microphenotype tends to go, because why are there so many horn lizard observations up here? This would be a good spot to go look for them, I guess. It's just weird because, I mean, you can see they're pretty evenly distributed through the Sangre de Cristos in the San Luis Valley, and then especially in the San Juan Mountains. But it is interesting that in this little spot in these sand flats, you get these teeny tiny horn lizards, and it seems like once you get outside, I mean, these 2 pins right here to the east of Mosca might be the last location. I don't know, but it would just be very cool to see. Like, how far away from this spot do you guys continue to be little? That is an itty bitty one. That is a fresh baby. Are their babies smaller? I have so many questions about these horn lizards. Either way, they're pretty cool. That's a weird sync of records. We looked at this one. We looked at this one. Are there any more? Oh, there are more. That's a handsome lizard right there. That's a really big one for that area too. This also might be kind of the western extent of that little phenotype that we were talking about. Very cool. There's another one. Super handsome. They're just brilliantly colored down there. And from what I've heard, they're not like impossible to come up on. They're fairly abundant. They're just like that color right there. Those sunny patches on the back, that's ridiculous. That's such a handsome lizard. Alright, so that's all the horn lizard records that we're going to look at, unless I can find one more to look at. Okay, fine. This is going to be the last one we look at. This is also probably going to be a pretty cool one. Ryan Van Meter found this. He's little. See, and that's I think it was called diminutum. I could be wrong. That also could be the one that's up in Oregon that's actually real. But, I mean, that's an adult. And that's, I mean, you kind of have to have some Hernandez eye context, which you should have by now. You should have studied. But yeah, it's just super cool. Right here, this is some photography that we're going to look at from Baca National Wildlife Refuge. Baca National Wildlife Refuge is a giant wetland corridor, and so it's just these absolutely beautiful wetland fields kind of by the national park. These photos are from people doing fish surveys out there. They've got some endemic fish out there that can't be found anywhere else. I don't know how endemic they are. I think those are some of them, perhaps the chub. There's a species of chub out there, and then there's a species of, I can't remember. This is kind of the habitat you're looking at, though. It's a really great spot for birds. A lot of people really like it down there. There's some milkweed. This one right here is, it's going to drive me nuts now. Let's just go look at some fish over here, huh? It's the Rio Grande, I think that one was Rio Grande sucker. This one here, I believe this one here is a Rio Grande sucker, and then the other one's a Rio Grande chub. I'm pretty sure that's correct, but we're not looking at any Canada geese today. Ooh, a leopard frog. That's cool. There's leopard frogs out here are leopard frogs that I've never seen before. Super handsome. Hanging out in the Carex, minding our business. We got the thing going. Really good looking frog. I really need to put more time into taking pictures of those because I don't tend to do that. Great Plains toad. These are another really cool one. Oh, these guys are teeny tiny. This guy almost don't even have, or almost still has his tail. Another leopard frog. That's cool. We're handsome. Handsome. Yeah, these corridors out here. I mean, you can sort of see it just on the map. All the water that comes down out of the Sangre de Cristos here ends up in these stream channels, and as you can see, just looking at that, like we're in a little too close, but you can see very clearly the stream channels. Really productive wetland here. Probably some cool wetland plants here. I'm not even going to say name of that one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What are we naming plants? Cool plant. Probably wouldn't spend much time with that plant though. We got a pea. I don't know what this is. It's cool. Oh my goodness. Those are sweet. There are a lot of places that we need to go see obscure random things that nobody cares about, because goodness. But either way, that's kind of the habitat that's out here. Especially once you get into Baca National Wildlife Refuge, you have all these large wetlands. Really great habitat out here. We got an elk. Look at that. It'd be very cool to see some elk out here. Just look at that. This is one of the coolest spots ever. Look at those elk. They're huge. That is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen elk in the San Luis Valley. I've seen them nearby, but not like down in the valley. That is super cool. That is the coolest. There's some arrowheads out here somewhere. There's cactus. Let's look at that. These things are awesome. They grow all over in the San Luis Valley. King Cup cactus. And those red flowers get huge. They're really, they have a really handsome growth habit too. Like the way that they grow on the landscape is always really cool. Heard of this one before. Salt Spring Checker Bloom. They're cool. Those are cool ass snails. We got an obscure wetland plant, spreading fleabane. We love the fleabanes around here. Those are a great plant. Let's check these out. This little area here, I believe this is where those arrowheads are. Bugleweed, never heard of it. Wow, that is a cool little wetland plant. I think that's a wetland plant. I mean, it's grown where there's carex and horsetails. This little cluster here. Corn, mint corn? Never heard of it. There's a lot of plants in this area that don't really grow. Oh yeah, it's a mint. Wow, that thing is handsome. Look at those teal flowers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this is that area right up here. There's a spot called Duncan that has some, it's kind of like the back corner end of the park. It's a really neat little area. I've never been there, but I've done seen it on the map. On the map. It's the map. It's the map. Ring longhorn beetle? Never heard of him. Maybe I have heard of those. I feel like I've seen those on milkweed before. There's a lot of weird bugs out here. There's actually, we'll run into that at some point, I'm sure, but there's an endemic tiger beetle out here that is pretty cool. Arctic gentian. These are probably really handsome. Whoa. 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 That's a cool plant. Gentians are awesome. What's our range like on this? Oh, I guess I can see that on this map here. Yeah, indeed, Arctic. How far north do we go? Wow. Whoa, those are in whoa. Check out that range. That's crazy that there's a plant in New Mexico that also grows in Japan. Wow. That is awesome. We're going to have to look at Colorado green gentian one of these days. That's a great plant. New Mexico groundsel. Got a western tiger swallow. That's a great plant right there. That's also not a plant. That's a bug. Sowie. I like how he's crowding that bee. That bee deserves what he's getting for his crimes. If I zoom way out, will it let me click on all of these? No. Western marsh cudweed? I never heard of that one before. We got another gentian. Let's go look at it in a sec here. Let's look at this one first. Alright. Fingers. I need to see this flower not in that state. Oh, they're cool. They're not as cool as that last gentian we were looking at, but those are fairly cool. Pretty soon we're going to step up into some of the upland stuff here, but for a moment, we got to do something. We got to... Where scientific name contains the text Sagittaria. These are my favorite plant. No, I saw it. What are you talking about? Oh, I know what it's talking about. It's selecting from the rows that only have horn lizards. How many we got? We got 5. Alright, so these green pins are all Sagittaria. And you can see they tend to... I think this one here on the north is probably an obscured pin, but they're sticking to these wetlands really nicely. And that's one of the big things that gets people to come out there, is that the wetlands are so great and they're in such a... It ain't the best picture of Sagittaria, but there they are. Those are also Sagittaria. All these little guys down there, I don't even know if... Yeah, that should be in the frame. All these little guys down here, those are Sagittaria. Sagittaria is a great plant. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. But this is a very big bird destination. People come out here because it's so quiet out there, and it's right on the Rockies, and all these... Look at those. Look at them. Look at those. These guys floating on the... I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. These guys floating on the top of the water are also arrowheads. They're growing different out there. I don't know if it's an elevation thing or what, but where I've seen them in southeastern Colorado, they've been a lot more expansive. Yeah, those are little ones back... Well, no, that's about... look at that. Look at that. It's just a field of Sagittaria cuneata. If you don't like that, we're going to have a problem. But yeah, it's a huge bird migration location, point in case. This is more what I'm used to from arrowheads. Great flowers on them. Just a really showy, beautiful wetland plant. And it's also, I mean, like, really, really high quality for frogs and for other stuff. Also, this guy right here taught me about him. Shouts out to Ryan XS, or however you say that. Did we look at this one? I think we did. Yeah, here's some more flowers. They're just great. 3 whorls. This is a young one. Mine don't even look that good yet. I'm growing some in the house and they look pretty ratty. Let's check out these plants here. Whoa, I don't know what this is. Dark-throated shooting star? Whoa, those are... Dude, this is why we're doing this, is because these properties are all so cool for something, and then we come through and we look on here. Alkali cordgrass. We'll look at some poaceae. It's a nice looking grass. But yeah, most of the cool stuff that exists on these properties is right by these wetlands. I mean, like, you know, the sand dunes themselves, which are up here, are very cool. But if we click through this, fungi including lichens, it's unfortunate too because the location of the dunes is such that a lot of the pins that are not these pins right here are obscured pins that are not showing up where they are because the people didn't want to say where they were. 10-line June beetle. I like a June bug. When you're at the dunes, you find these things all over the place, and you'll find like dead ones and sheds all over too. Pretty neat. We already looked at one of those peas. That's a great plant. Rocky Mountain bee plant. We love bee plant. Wow, it's growing so dark. I also think that's an obscured pin from somewhere else, but God, that plant. We gotta find that dune beetle. So we're gonna look at this warbler though. It's a lady. She not got a color. Or it's a man and I don't know what birds look like. That's also possible. Here it is. Colorado dune tiger beetle. So this is an endemic. I don't know why they used the same photo 3 times. That's cool. That is, like, if we go to the map, they're only found. If we go to the map, you can see these guys are only found right around the sand dunes. I wonder what's up with this. You got one up in the mountains? Oh no, see, even the obscured ones, this was from down here. So these guys are a really cool species. We'll have a look at those. They're really handsome too. I mean, like, if you had to see a bug and you don't like bugs, that ain't a bad bug to be looking at. Even that guy on the back thinks so. Really cool. They're also really abundant around here, so when you're in the park, you see a lot of them. Something cool's here. Tahokia daisy, never heard of it. Wow, they're beautiful. Look at how sandy it is there too. You know what's crazy? There could be milk. You know what's crazy? There could be milk snakes at this park. I think about that more than I should. Spotted tussock moth. Indubitably, it does look like a tussock. Real quick. So let's just have a look. These are those Rio Grande chubs that I was talking about. They were doing fish surveys for. This is another one of the. They're not endemic to the whole valley, but they're endemic to the Rio Grande River, and they're really not doing well. And so this is a fish that they pay quite a bit of attention to at Baca National Wildlife Refuge, which is over here. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of water back here, so a lot of these stream corridors and these wetlands through here represent like their only habitat, and they're doing a lot of work to preserve those. Is this a snake crossing the road? Is it killdeer? We'll look at a killdeer real quick. Oh, it's baby killdeers. Itty bitty. With big heads nonetheless. So there's that, and then let's go back one more real quick, and we'll look at Rio Grande sucker. Really cool fish. Again, the distribution on this fish is spotty at best, and pretty much all of the places that it's found, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is really cool. All the way down there. Basically, all the places that it's found are really well protected. So, Gila National Forest, I've spent some time kind of in this area. They're present there. They're present up here in Apache National Forest. And then this is, I wonder what's going on here. That's pretty cool. This is, yeah, Valley Caldera. I know that's not how you say. I'm not gonna be good at that. My bad. But, and then there's these two little pins up in the Rockies. And it's a really handsome fish. I mean, if you look at that, that is a beautiful, beautiful fish. It looks like this is while they were doing wetland surveys maybe for these. But let's have a look at these. These are another species of concern. Like I said, really, really handsome fish. Really, really, really beautiful fish right there. And they're not doing really well. So the work that these people are doing, especially on Baca, Baca National Wildlife Refuge, is really important for that fish. Especially considering, I mean, they do surveys back in here, but there are no fish present. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Music Pass, which is in the upper section of the third property over here. Oh yeah, they're down here. Just look at some photography. So technically, this is still managed as part of the park. This is not the park. This is the preserve, but they're continuous and there's no fence, and they're both national park properties. So we're going to have a look at them. It's hard to imagine standing up on that, knowing that what, you know, like the relativity of it all. Check out those avalanche chutes. I have a lot of, I don't know, avalanche chutes are really cool because you got to consider the fact that these avalanche chutes right here probably have totally different ecology, totally different plant communities, plants that only grow there. Very cool stuff. Look at that. This is right next to the sand dunes. The sand dunes are probably more fun to play in, but absolutely amazing. Yeah, Great Sand Dunes National Preserve. Very cool stuff. This looks like, yeah, this is on the east side of the pass, so this is no longer in that same region, but just amazing stuff back there. We'll have a look real quick. The only reason I even do this is because there's going to be so many species, like pikas. I didn't know there were pikas up there. Look at the young fellow. That is one of the great rodents of the world, and it is the great rodent of the Americas. I will not be taking notes. Police car moth. Does it look like a police? It does look like a police car. It's also a really cool moth. Cyrex. I don't know what this one is. I really don't know what that is. We gotta get, whoa, he got a cool tail though. That is a weird looking bogue. We gotta get Steven on the hot mic. Hey Steven, tell us about this cool looking bogue. And Steven will, because Steven is the best. We got a cutthroat trout. These are probably cool looking fish. Wow, that thing. He got a little rainbow in him. He ain't totally cutthroat, but he's pretty close. That is a really handsome fish. Canada Jay, one of my favorite birds. The camp robber. When you're up in the Rockies, these guys they're corvid, and they'll come pester you and check you out, and they'll like climb down the tree and look at you. It's really weird. That thing. Thistles are one of the great underrated plants. Look at that thing. It's a weed. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. That sucks for you. That is not a weed. That is a cool looking plant. Really cool looking plant right there. Twinberry honeysuckle? Twinberries? What would you know? Arctic blue, these are really cool butterflies. I think I looked at this one when I was setting the map up. Yeah, look at that thing. Look at that thing. It's so shiny and metallic. Look at that belly. Butterflies are a thing that we need to get into more around these parts, but I am without direction. And Steven won't come up here and help me. Golden sedge, that sounds cool. Oh, it is in fact quite little. But it is a cool looking plant. I wonder if those are all golden sedges growing in there. And what's the deal? What is the deal? We got a delicate Jacob's ladder. Polymonominium. Those are a great plant. I wonder if there's an elevation deal with those flowers. Because a lot of times if you take seed from like the high Rockies and from areas that are not totally... Oh, we got a columbine. Let's look at the columbine. Actually, first, let's look at this dang ground squirrel. Small rodents are becoming... We're naughty. We are naughty. We're gonna go get into some business. We're gonna go find another guy that looks just like us and go at him like he did something. Oh my goodness. Dude. Columbines are one of the great plants of the whole world. I swear to God. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go look. This is gonna be a cool little area. We got a frog. We got a police car moth. We already looked at one of those. We got paintbrushes. I'm not going to be able to ID these. Really handsome plants, though. It's really impressive how many paintbrushes there are in America. Like, anytime I go down that, we got a pine squirrel. Let's go look at him. Oh, we're naughty. Look at us. We got our naughty face on. I wonder what these are. Those are all plants. Western rose root. I learn about a lot of new plants this way. Whoa. Okay. I didn't know that we were dealing with succulents. It's a stone crop. Look at those. Whoa. My dad's still... Oh, no, it's 10:30. He can get out of bed. Those things? Oh. Dude. They look like a Mario thing. Alright. I want to go see all the high up plants. Oh, wow. Again. How cool is that? That a stone crop that's in Russia. That's as far, yeah, in Russia. Are you kidding me? They're in the sacks? What? Alright, let's go look at these. I bet there's a lot of cool little plants up here. Hayden's paintbrush. Hey, I know Hayden. How did you guys know about Hayden? Oh, he got a lovely looking paintbrush. Wow. Those are so cool. I need to know more about plants so that when things come up that are so cool, I can actually talk about them. Let's look at another dang thistle. Look at, like, come on. You don't think that's a cool plant? You think that's a weed? We gotta start making fun of those people. What do you think it's a weed? Are you scared it's gonna ruin your yard? Oh, no. Yeah, these videos divulge to nothing pretty quickly. Those are cool, but they don't look like much. Showy alpine ragwort. Don't mind if I do. This is the problem about upland plants, is that they don't look like anything. I mean, they're really cool. I also mean to say alpine, not upland. Western paintbrush, not really anything that crazy. Those rose roots were probably the coolest thing. Matte saxifrage, let's look at that. There's those saxifrage flowers. Yeah, it would be really cool to go up here. But it'll probably be some time because the first, section, I never heard of them. Oh yeah, whoa, I really like that basil rosette. I said, oh yeah, like I know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Alpine primrose, this is probably a cool plant. It is a cool plant, but it is not a big plant. That growth habit is jumping up there. We love being recessed. Alright, let's pick one more area and finish strong. Let's go look at some plants that live where there's tons of Hernandez eye, because that's pretty cool. Adonis blazing star? Okay, well it's not in flower. Let's go look at it in flower. Really good plant right there. Really good one. They have 10 petal and what's the other one? They have 2 species on the preserve that I enjoyed a lot this summer, but that's not one of them, and it's actually cooler than all of them. Well, I don't know. Ooh, a dusky grouse. I really like those 10 petal blazing stars. Dusky grouse are a ridiculous bird. I'm a chicken and I live in an aspen tree. And God said, alright, it's cool. Let us know when you're done. Wow. I wonder if those are sister to green threads, because they look like it. Oh, they're Hymenopsis. Yeah, see? Tetranurinae. Tetranurinae is I misspoke. I was thinking of Tetranurus, not green threads. I'm also looking at the wrong thing. Let's get back to business. Mountain ball cactus, cool plant, but we don't need to freak out. Let's finish strong with one more real cool plant. What? A Woodhouse's toad? They found that down low, and the obscured pin ended up there. That's what that was. All right, let's look at stonecrop and be done with this. Stonecrop's a good plant. Stonecrop's a good plant. It looks pretty cool there, but check this out. We're about to get cooler. Check it out in flower. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right, this has been a lot of nonsense. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a new appreciation for Great Sand Dunes National Park, Great Sand Dunes National Preserve, and Baca National Wildlife Refuge. Yeah, Mike Lee, eat it.